It is my pleasure to welcome our speaker for the opening session, Mr. Christian Fabina. He is the regional sales manager at Cambium Networks. For those who may not be familiar with the company, Cambium Networks is a leading global provider of wireless solutions that connects people and places and things. The company operates globally, and Mr. Christian here is responsible for 13 countries, if I'm right, that include the Adriatic region, Bulgaria, Turkey, Qatar, and Georgia. Christian has 20 years of experience in the field of radio communications through different roles over the working history. The topic he will be covering today is purpose-built wireless solutions for video surveillance, perimeter security, and disaster recovery, and also end-to-end kilobits to multi-gigabits. Well, welcome, Mr. Christian. We're happy to have you here, and it is our pleasure.
Thank you, and happy to be here supporting the event. So good afternoon, everybody, whoever is watching, and hopefully you will find this presentation insightful and useful for your potential projects. So this event is also co-organized by our distribution partner in Adriatics, Ingra Micro Croatia. So they will be responsible for taking any inquiries from the channel side. So if we can move on with the slides, before we start, I would just, even though Mohammed, you introduced the company, I would like to share a few words just about the Cambium history. So Cambium is a pioneer in fixed wireless broadband since many years ago, and basically the company was part of the Motorola Solutions for many years until 2011, when it separated to a private company. So we have been a leading provider of wireless solutions for many years, and over the last decade, we have expanded our portfolio. With a wide variety of wireless solutions supporting different markets like telecommunications sector, critical applications, any kind of broadband connectivity, industrial IoT, and lately we also support with our portfolio Wi-Fi, where we are a champion in a high-density Wi-Fi, along with the latest multi-gigabit platform in 60 gigahertz frequency band. We will say a few words at the end of the presentation about that. So Cambium is today a private, it's a public company since 2019, and we have over 6,000 channel partners, distributors and system integrators, and even more of end users. We are based in Chicago with multiple offices across the world, and slightly over 700 people covering 6 continents. Until today, we have shipped, I think, over 8 million nodes, radios, combining all our portfolio. So if you look at our references, with our broad portfolio, we have presence in many industries like the enterprise Wi-Fi and switching, where we have customers like Facebook and Microsoft, Google. In fixed wireless broadband, we are working with a service provider starting from 100 users up to big telecoms, tier 1 operators, some very popular names in the world. We are also supporting a military space, so we have lots of government and military customers with a special product lines designed specifically for that purposes. And as you can see, there are many applications that we are supporting with the connectivity solutions in our portfolio, from mining, from oil and gas, military, digital cities, and many more. So what we can do with our broad portfolio is cover different frequency bands, different needs in terms of capacity and the distance, and we can support even the most challenging environments. So today's focus is basically on telling you about a solution that is designed to support the video surveillance among all the other solutions that we have. And in video surveillance, we have proven technology for many years that supports different kinds of applications in different cities and other places around the world, providing high reliability and high capacity connectivity for video surveillance and perimeter security. So for that reason, learning the market needs over the last decade, we have designed a specific solution, CN Vision, which is a purpose-built for such applications for CCTV and video surveillance. So it's a very simple solution, but I would like to highlight a few things like very much simplified configuration for this solution. So it's very easy to use. You don't have to be a very well-trained engineer to know how to configure it. It comes with easy planning and easy installation and configuration with the tools that we are providing. And most of all, our 24/7 support. We have both best effort and paid support for our higher level customers, and the standard 3-year warranty that comes along with this solution and with many other products that we have in our portfolio. So with the broadband connectivity solutions that we have, we can support different kinds of applications, from connecting residential customers or business customers in rural areas. We can do the same with the high capacity solutions in urban areas, providing high connectivity to the buildings, and then operators can do fiber optics or some other medium throughout the building. We support with the same solution the connectivity for outdoor Wi-Fi hotspots in different public places like squares and frequent walking streets and parks. But most of all, we do support CCTV applications in both urban and rural areas, where we can provide both point-to-point and point-to-multipoint connectivity on different distances, even up to 250 kilometers far. So just a few highlights for the CN Vision. Why is this solution specific? So first, it has definitely a high security. So we have up to 256-bit encryption, if that's allowed within your country. Transmission over the air means that we have a proprietary protocol with an implemented automatic QoS, which prioritizes the video transmission. There is a high resilience to interference and dedicated spectrum analyzer that allows the spectrum scan while you are transmitting the data, so you can see what's happening on the spectrum around you. But few things actually are very specific, and we will deep dive into that, which is a CCTV integration in a way that we have on-VIF client on all our devices, which helps with the troubleshooting. And we are also supporting the VMS integration with different third-party vendors who have VMS platforms. So the solution is aside for being very applicable in a CCTV application, is very cost effective, it's easy to install, highly secured, and again, it comes with a 3-year standard warranty. So presenting the solution, it's very simple. We have basically 2 base stations in the portfolio. The one on the left, the Hub 360, is the one that is coming with the integrated omnidirectional antenna, which is covering short distances in a 360 degrees. And then we have a connectorized base station, which allows you to use any type of directional antenna for a longer distance. And on the client side, we have 4 options. The specification for all the units is basically the same. The only difference is basically the antenna gain inside of the units. So we are starting from 13 dBi up to 19 dBi gain. The solution is based on latest 11AC Wave 2 chipset. So we can provide up to 600, 650 megabits of aggregated throughput. We have just released last month a very specific addition to the portfolio, which is again additional radio that can act as a client device or can be serve as a point-to-point link. But the specific is, as you can see, it provides a 3 PoE out ports, meaning it can power any 3 PoE devices like cameras or Wi-Fi hotspots or just any other PoE device. So the total budget is around 60 watts, and the budget is dynamically assigned per port as devices are using it. So we find this device very applicable in many different applications, actually, starting from the CCTV. So this can basically replace the need for either outdoor switch or indoor switch that you would typically put in some IP67 box. So we believe that this will ease the installation and make the things and the management of the network much easier and more affordable. So just as explanation how it works. So for the base stations, they radiate the energy either in 360 with a small unit with integrated antenna, hub 360, let's say up to 1 kilometer. But if you need to go in rural or urban area a longer distance, then we can use a connectorized hub flex base station in a combination with directional antenna. So in terms of antennas, we do have few flavors. So one of the antennas is the sector antenna that covers 90 to 120 degrees of directional beam. We have also Omni antenna, and from our partner RF Elements, partners like to use horn antennas that have even more narrow beam, which contributes a lot, especially in areas where there is a high interference. So if you would use it with a horn antenna, our base station comes with a RF Elements twist port adapter that basically makes the antenna just click on it, so it's very, very simple to use. And then on the end points, you have any types of clients from our portfolio. Similar is with our sector antenna. It's just that we are covering different angle. In this case, it's up to 120 degrees. The sector antenna attaches to our base station, and in that angle covers the needs for the connectivity of the endpoints that are normally serving the camera video streams. And the base station hub 360 is basically the base station with integrated Omni antenna, so it covers the entire 360 degrees and can connect any clients with a reasonable throughput up to 1 kilometer distance. So for the client devices, we have only 3 types of clients, so very easy depending on the distance where you need to apply the connectivity for your locations. We have 3 clients: Micro, Mini, and Max R. Again, they're all with the specific features, which are the same. It's just the antenna gain is different. So with a small client, we can go in a point to multipoint configuration up to 500 meters. We can go longer, but these are just reasonable expectations, the distances where we can expect reasonable throughput. So with a 16 dBi antenna, the Mini, we can go up to 1.5 kilometers, and with a high gain antenna, we can go even longer. Of course, all these units can be also connected in a point-to-point configuration. Therefore, the distance between the 2 endpoints can be much farther. So with a small client, we go normally typically up to 2 kilometers, up to 6 kilometers with a Mini client, or 10 or more kilometers with a Max R or RP client device that can serve as a point-to-point or a client supporting high capacity for the endpoints. So mentioning why this solution is specific, all basically our client devices and the base stations are having on-with client. So what that means is that we can discover in our point-to-point or multi-point connectivity all the video streams passing through our links. So many times this makes the entire troubleshooting much easier, because typically after the connectivity of our solutions, we normally have cameras, but in between cameras and our radios, we normally have some switch. And that switch is typically not industrial grade, and this is where the most of the issues happen. So normally, of course, the typical blame is for the wireless, right? If something doesn't work, it's normally always a wireless issue, but it doesn't have to be. In this case, you can check if you have the connectivity between the two sides, and you can check on the endpoint if the video stream is coming to the link. So we can easily know if the issue is on the switching side or on the camera side, and therefore approach to fixing the problem. So if you go into our interface, you can easily see all the cameras that are discovered that are passing through our point-to-point or multi-point links. For each camera, we can see total consumption of the bandwidth that they are using. We can see it also for the aggregated video streams. And if we click, actually, yeah, before I go further on, you can see that we can see all the details about all the cameras, from MAC address, IP address, which vendor are they produced with, camera names, and so on. And if we click on any of those cameras, we can even see the live stream inside of our units. So we can see, what's happening on that side. And just how it looks like on the field. These are some typical pictures, deployment pictures. On the top left, you can see an example of the base station that is covering some specific area. And on the other pictures, it's basically the client nodes, which are connecting one or more CCTV cameras. So either it's a public event, even it's a CCTV covering the municipalities or a parking lots. It's a different applications. And another very cool thing about the CNVision solution is the integration into different VMS platforms. Of course, we have our own management platform that you can use, but the idea is if the partner is already, or the end customer, using cameras, they normally don't want to have two management systems on the screen. So what we did is we are supporting, as you can see, VMS systems from Avigilon, Genetec, Milestone, Axis Communications, and many others. Will come to this list very shortly. So from any of these VMS, you can see not only cameras, but also our radios. And you can decide which information you want to put as a tile on the screen and watching what's happening with the link performance. You can even set the alarms and define the thresholds. If the capacity, if the basically camera consumption, bandwidth consumption comes close to link availability, trigger the alarm and warn me that I maybe have a capacity issue over time. So for more specific and longer distance applications, we have additional proprietary solutions. This is example of the industry first proprietary point-to-point link that is very high capacity, and it's based on the latest technology, which is the Wi-Fi 6 or 802.11ax standard. So it can serve up to 1 gigabit of usable throughput with a very, very low latency. And it comes in two flavors, either with the integrated dish antenna of 25 dBi that can support the distances up to 40 kilometers or more, or you have connectorized version where you can use any type of antenna you desire, and even a higher gain antenna for a much longer distance. As we are seeing the 5 gigahertz in many areas, being very saturated and bringing lots of interference, and which is impacting the capacities of the links, we see a switch from 5 to 60 gigahertz frequency band over the last few years, especially in the Western countries of Europe. So in our example, the CNWave is a 60 gigahertz multi-gigabit platform. Multi-gigabit means it can serve up to 15 gigabit of usable throughput in a point-to-point or a point-to-multipoint configuration. So we find this frequency band very attractive for CCTV applications. Actually, many operators and the system integrators are already using this band for the last few years in many countries, as it's a clean spectrum and provides really a high throughput, so you can use a high resolution 4K cameras and multiple cameras per location. So good thing about these units is they also have PoE out ports, so we can power up to one camera from each of these units, or we can power up redundant point-to-point link on 5 gigahertz, which is a very good feature in this platform, as 60 gigahertz is very much affected by the oxygen and the water. So if you don't have enough fade margin, backup link on 5 gigahertz can be really useful. So mentioning our management platform, I would like to introduce our CN Maestro. This is a platform that we have since many years ago, and it's a very specific, as it serves the entire Cambium portfolio. So any device you buy from Cambium, no matter if it's a Wi-Fi, switch, point-to-point, multi-point, our CN Maestro platform supports it. So we have two flavors. We have CN Maestro Essentials, that is basically free. We don't charge for it. There is no licenses. It has really nice set of features. And also CN Maestro X platform, that is a paid platform and brings, of course, much more features for different product lines, like mesh in 60 gigahertz, like a longer data history, like 1 or 2 years, and so on. Both versions of the platforms are providing the free software updates. It's a centralized platform that can serve up to 10,000 Cambium devices, both in cloud and on premises, with a high availability and elegant simplicity. So as you can see, you can have the platform either in cloud, or you can download from our support portal free image for your virtualized environment. On the other side, specific to the CN Vision portfolio, we have added a free tool. It's called CN Companion, which basically provides you the ease of planning. So you can really put some points around the area that you need to cover with the cameras. You can define the capacity that you need per camera, the codecs that we'll use, the resolution. So the tool automatically calculates how much bandwidth do you need from our from the wireless connectivity, and basically gives you better insight on which radios from our portfolio you should use in your applications. We also have a free tool, Link Planner, that also allow you to model what if scenarios. So depending on the geography, distance, antenna height, transmit power, whatever factors you put inside, you can get the clean visibility of the wireless connectivity performance, even depending on your area, that calculates also the weather conditions over the year. So you can plan both point-to-point and multi-point. You can get a nice profile of the link with the expected throughputs and the link availability over the year. And the system allows you to export the documentation either as installation report or a proposal report with all the deep technical details. And lastly, for those partners interested in using our solutions for the video surveillance or any kind of different deployment, we have a specialized connected partner program for CN Vision system integrators, which is basically free of charge, and we do not ask for any commitment on the revenue. And basically, with being part of this program, you get many benefits from accessing to our learning portal, free certification and the trainings. You get, of course, better pricing, higher level of support, and a help with the design and technical know-how. So here is the link. If any of the partners is potentially interested, you can register as a partner on this link and fill out the form to apply for the program benefits. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate the time you have allocated for this informational session. I believe it will be a good time for the spectators to ask anything that they may be interested in and that Mr. Christian here can answer. You can post the questions in the chat box on the Connect2B platform. We will give you a minute if needed. I will ask, however, regarding the security of the networks, what are the advantages of Cambium Networks solutions for the security in terms of can certain individuals access the video surveillances? What are the aspects of the cameras to prevent that from happening?
Sure. So typically all the camera vendors are providing the encryption for their video streams. Our link is also additionally encrypted with up to 256 bits of AES encryption. And on all our radios, we are using proprietary protocol. So it's not, an open protocol that you can, learn from and discover, how it operates. So it's a closed system. It's very hard to penetrate, and so far, in the last decade or more, we never had any issues, for the system to be penetrated and exposed to, third parties.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you for your answer. All right. It seems that we don't have any other questions in the chat box. With that said, I would thank you for your time, and I would advise anyone who is currently watching to connect with Christian and Cambium Networks with later on the Connect2B platform. You can arrange meetings and post your inquiries as well. Thank you for your time.